Carlin and for the past 9 years, I've been working with Indigenous youth and communities across Canada. In schools, community halls, and remote areas with one clear goal, to help improve lives and create a better future. This podcast is about real stories about resilience and what it takes to overcome adversity and achieve success. Through my work with educators, leaders, and athletes, I've seen what works, what doesn't, and what needs to change. That's what we'll be talking about here. Each episode, we'll be sitting down with people who have taken different paths to success, who face real challenges, and who have something meaningful to pass on to others. This isn't about hype. It's about truth, impact, and believing in what's possible. Welcome to the See and Believe podcast. Welcome to episode 3 of the See and Believe podcast. I'm very happy to have my good friend Assaad Atallah here today. Assaad is an immigrant from Lebanon and has a very interesting story about life in Lebanon, his journey to Canada, and now life in Canada. So looking forward to this. All right. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Yeah, right on. Cool. So how's things been? You survived the cold snap?
Oh yeah, it was
brutal,
pretty cold. It was brutal. That's my fourth winter here now. So
yeah.
Getting used to it, I say.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess you got no choice. What was the coldest it would get in Lebanon? Would it get cold?
So it does get cold, obviously not to like minus 20 or minus 30.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Lebanon is pretty humid because our whole western side of the country is open to the Mediterranean, which would make it very humid in winter and in summer.
Right.
So it's the humidity that gets you. So if it's 10 degrees in Lebanon, you would feel your bones shiver.
Really?
That's how cold it got.
Yeah,
But you don't get like the low negatives. You don't get those. But still, the humidity is brutal.
Yeah, when I was in Vancouver, or not Vancouver, coastal BC, they were talking about when it's cold there. They said it just goes right through you, man. So it's different than our
It
cold.
is.
All extreme cold is not good. I'll take the heat.
No, I would take the cold any day of the week. Yeah.
So on that note, what was for heat? What was it over there?
So again, it's the humidity. So it would be like 32 degrees, but then the humidity, you would so if we would be sitting down like this, just doing nothing, just breathing, you would be sweating.
Wow.
Because of how humid it got.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's the humidity. It's always the humidity. Now, I like the dry weather here.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because like it's cold, but it's dry, so it doesn't really bother you. Same as when it's hot, you don't really sweat the way we used to in Lebanon.
Right. All right, we're getting into things here, bud. For people meeting you for the first time, who are you today?
Well, my name is Assaad.
Who is Assaad today? Yeah.
It's pronounced Assaad in Arabic,
Okay.
but nobody can pronounce it right, so I'm just getting used to Assaad. I am a 43-year-old newcomer to Canada, newish comer. My family and I landed in Saskatoon here in July of 2022. It was Sunday, July 24th, 2022.
A day you'll never forget.
Oh no, I will probably not forget that day because it was pretty hard leaving.
Yeah.
A lot of emotional stuff, a lot of tears.
Yeah.
And we were coming to somewhere where we literally knew nobody.
Yeah.
Other than some Lebanese friends that we met in Lebanon in the process of immigrating, because we all came here together. These were the only people we knew. We didn't even know if there were Lebanese here. We didn't even know, we knew absolutely nothing. And I had my kids. My kids were 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
So that's a huge responsibility.
Absolutely. So on that note, why Saskatoon?
Well, to be honest, it was never part of the plan.
Okay.
There's a huge Lebanese diaspora here in Canada. They're mainly in Montreal and in Ottawa.
Okay.
I have family in Montreal and I have family in Ottawa. So the plan was always to go there. But the immigration path here to Saskatoon was somewhat faster.
Yeah.
So my family and I thought that, hey, we would come to Saskatoon, spend a couple of months, then move to Ottawa. So the first couple of months turned into a whole school year.
Yeah.
Then my kids fell in love with the school. My wife liked her job. We liked the people here. So we said, you know what? We'll give it a chance. Let's try another year. That's our fourth year here.
Yeah.
We've bought our house, and I don't think we're ever moving out of Saskatoon. We just fell in love with the weather.
I was going to say you fell in love with that dry cold.
Yeah, fell in love with the weather.
That's awesome. So what does a average day look for you today?
So I work
Luckily.
full time. So
Yeah.
does my wife. So weekdays are
Yeah.
pretty standard. It's a routine. I wake up early, take a shower, get my kids ready for school, get their meals ready for the day, then wake them up, drop them off at school, come finish my work day, and then get back home and start to get bossed around by my wife and kids. So,
Who does the cooking?
well, usually weekdays it's my wife because
Yeah.
we cook our authentic Lebanese cuisine.
I need to come have some of that.
You are welcome anytime. You
we're
would
gonna
love our cuisine.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's much healthier than what you Canadians eat. A lot less fry foods, a lot less processed food.
Yeah.
It's all built from scratch. So usually during the week, it's my wife that cooks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I help out, but 90% of the cooking is her. And then on weekends, when it's time for the unhealthy good stuff,
Yeah.
that's when I cook, and I'm very popular with my kids when I cook because I do them the things they want.
I'm going to come when your wife's cooking.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's get into it. What was life like as a kid growing up in Lebanon?
That's a very interesting question.
And you can answer it as long as you want.
I was born in September of 1982,
Mm-hmm.
which was right in the middle of the Lebanese Civil War. So the Civil War started in 1975, I want to say, and I was born in September of 1982. 1 week after I was born, the Lebanese president was assassinated.
I've got the timeline here.
Yeah. So growing up, it was a war-torn country.
Yeah. Okay.
And
No
we-
ifs, ands, or buts about it.
no.
Yeah.
There's no sugarcoating it. It was war.
Yeah.
It was all out war. There were certain areas in Lebanon, mostly rural areas, that were not as affected by the bombing and the shootings as you would say the capital or the suburbs or these areas. So we were lucky enough that my mom actually comes from a rural area.
Yeah.
So my brother and I spent most of our childhood in that village. We call them villages in Lebanon,
Okay.
just to avoid getting killed, literally just to avoid getting killed. Now, my dad had to go to work, and he would actually cross lines. We call them hotlines from one area to the other, and you would have to wait to when there's a ceasefire to be able to cross. And sometimes he would cross from where he lived to where he worked, and he would be stuck at where he worked because there was no ceasefire.
Right.
So my brother and I spent most of our childhood in this village away from the bombings. We did have our fair share of action over there.
Yeah.
So I remember growing up, they used to bomb from a village right close to our village all the way to a coastal city.
Yeah.
And we would see the bombs flying over our head in the night sky. You would hear it, and then you would look up and you would see like a red flare going. You wouldn't hear it dropping or exploding because it was ways off.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of my childhood memories have something to do with war, like tanks, army personnel, shootings, bombs, explosions, airplanes in the sky. It's nothing but normal.
Yeah. So you didn't know any different though, right? So, but it was still scary as a kid. Or did did it numb you a little bit after a while?
When I look at it now, I was like, oh my God, what kind of a life is this? That's not a life that a human being should live. But when you're in the middle of it,
Yeah.
like it's just day to day. Of course, you get scared because you don't know what's going to happen next. But then you get used to it,
As much as you can.
right? Because you have to.
Yeah.
So you either lose your mind or you say, you know what, no matter what, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to do the best I can. And this is what we did. So yeah, we, for lack of better description, we got used to it. It was all we knew.
What was, there must have been many, but what was one incident that you can tell us about that was it was really scary and dangerous for you?
So we used to go into safer areas of the houses. So usually if it's a two-story house, you would live or you would hide on the main story, which would be on the main level, like on road level.
Yeah.
And we used to live, so my family, mom, dad, my brother and me, and my grandmother, and a couple of my uncles and a couple of my aunts, we all used to live in my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
And we all used to hide in a room, honestly, not much bigger than this room here.
Right.
And we had like these sandbags around the doors and the windows and all that stuff. And you walked out of this room into like this huge terrace, and right by this terrace there was a main road. My worst memory of the war, there was an APC that was carrying ammunition,
What is an APC for people
armored
that don't know?
personnel carrier.
Yeah.
You would be surprised of how many military cars and rifles and things a lot of the Lebanese would be
Terminology.
able to are comfortable with this terminology, because especially my age category, because we lived these. So this personnel carrier, we ended up finding out that it was carrying ammo. It got hit by an anti-tank weapon, and it exploded right in front of the house.
Wow.
And I don't know if you've ever heard ammunition going off,
No.
but it's not a pleasant sound.
Well, I've heard my rifle going off, and that's about it.
So imagine 10,000 of those going off at the same
Jesus.
time. And we could hear this, and we thought that there was a battle going on right at our front door. So my dad kind of sneaked a peek,
Yeah.
and he saw a fire. And mind you, I was probably 7, 8 years old, I want to say.
Yeah.
It was early 90s, 89, 90, something like this. And for the life of us, we couldn't figure out what was going on. And then it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse for a long.
And stuff's just going off?
Yeah, stuff just going off. And then that was towards the end of the war. And then the bombing that day and that night was really bad. Like really bad.
Yeah.
So in the morning, after having spent the night in like a brutal night, we wake up, we go outside. Obviously, it's a war zone. And then we look and we see this thing burnt down. I was like, whoa, well, that was what was making the sound. And that's part of getting used to it. So you spent
Jesus.
all night wondering what's going on. And then in the morning, you go look at it. Oh, that's what's going on. So, and then because the bombing got so bad that night, we decided to move from where we were to my uncle's house, who lived on sort of a hill, which is a bit higher than where we were.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of floors underground, which would have been safer for us. So we went and lived there.
A bunker.
Well,
base.
in Lebanon, it's like storage depots, we call them.
Okay.
So they're basically empty. So we lived there for, can't remember how long, until things quieted down. But yeah, that was probably one of the roughest nights,
No
because
kidding.
yeah, you didn't know what was going on. Usually, like there's bombs going off or there's people shooting, but we heard like it was really bad and we couldn't know what it was. And obviously everybody was scared. So,
Geez, so that must have been quite the journey from your place to your uncle's.
I remember driving. My dad had a French car, a Renault, if you know it. It was a Renault and they had numbers, Renault 12. I still remember the car, man.
Okay. I know that. They've had those here before. I've seen them.
Yeah, I've never seen French cars here. I've
Yeah.
never seen a Renault or a Peugeot here in Canada. So we got into that car, and I think my dad had to make 2 trips. I can't remember that, but there was so much debris on the road, we didn't even know if we were going to make it.
Yeah.
There was a ceasefire, so bombs are not going to start falling on you. But then because of how much debris there was, you had to literally navigate whatever was on the road to make it to where you were going.
Wow.
I still I wish I didn't remember those because these are not memories that an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old should have.
Yeah.
But I still remember them like they were yesterday. I
Wow.
mean, I could spend days talking about about, about that.
Well, you know, my dad was always watching the news, and some of my earliest memories that I have, and I don't know how old I was, probably what's the youngest you can have memories? Probably when we were 8, right? And it was Lebanon, and it was bombing, you
Yeah.
know. And I mean, this was all through the 80s, and Israel. Uh, so like, what was the battles when you were that age? Who was what was the problem? Who was bombing who?
God knows, man.
Okay.
God knows. Everybody hated everybody
Yeah.
and
Still
everybody
do.
was bombing everybody. Well, and here's the thing. There's always two sides of every story, right?
Yeah.
So if you sit with me, I'll give you my side and I'll
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I was rooting for these guys and these guys were right." But then if you sit with somebody else who was on the opposite side, he would be able to sell you just as good as I would be able to sell you that, "Hey, my side was right." But now, having matured a bit, having moved out of the country and trying to be as objective as I can, I would say both sides were idiots.
Yeah. Probably
Like,
right.
what the hell, man? Lebanon was called the Switzerland of the Middle East.
At one time.
It was, and it still is beautiful.
Yeah.
Everybody loved to go to Lebanon. Tourism was booming beyond recognition, but then you had to throw it all out, burn it all down.
Now, take us into your early teens, your thought processes and about life. And did you did you start coming up with a plan? Did you think you were going to stay in Lebanon, or were you already then starting to think, I got to get out of here?
I still think I should be in Lebanon.
You do.
I don't want to say plan because that, like, now they're no longer plans, they're dreams. Because realistically speaking, I don't think I'll ever be back to Lebanon. But leaving Lebanon was never an idea for me. I always thought that I would grow old and die in Lebanon. That's how much I love my country.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
yeah, I never thought that. No, I never had plans. Like, to answer your
Okay.
question,
Yeah.
I never thought or I never had plans that I would leave.
Obviously, you know, the kids growing up in Canada would have no idea of what your life was like. I mean, it was you were in a war-torn country, so um, totally different than growing up here. So let's go to your move to Qatar. Things were pretty bad in Lebanon at that time. You remember? Did you have to leave?
Well, things were not bad per se. Things
Okay.
were much better. So I moved to Qatar in '06, I want to say. Economically, things were looking better. We did have a mini war
Yeah, I see that.
with Israel in 2006, but that did not influence my
Okay.
move. The main decision to move to Qatar was that I had started to get serious with my now wife,
Mm-hmm.
Loran, and things in Lebanon are, like, socially are a bit different than what you guys are used to here. So
Give me an example.
for me to get approval from her dad, I
Mm-hmm.
had to show him that I am well established and I will be able to take care of his daughter.
Oh my goodness.
And
We need to bring that to Canada.
oh yeah, you should. Well,
Well, yes.
that's what I would like to have my son do, and that's definitely what I'm gonna have my son-in-law do when the time comes.
Good for you.
So I had to prove to my father-in-law that I am good to go. I am able to take care of his daughter at least the same way and provide for her the same way that he was doing. And the first thing to do that was to have a house in your name. Where are you going to live?
Yeah.
And I did make a good salary in Lebanon, but with my salary, it would have taken me ages to buy a house. And I got the opportunity to go work in real estate in Qatar.
Yeah.
Qatar was booming at the time, so was the UAE, and there was a lot of money to be made over there. So moving to Qatar was strictly a financial move.
Yeah.
Like I knew that I would be there for at least 3 years, at most 5 years, make as much money as I can, move back to Lebanon, get married, and start fresh. And again, I was fortunate enough to do that. Like 3 years in, I struck a huge deal, made a huge commission,
Yeah.
put in my month notice because we got to put in a month notice over there, not 2 weeks. Put in my resignation, moved back to Lebanon, bought the house, and started fresh.
So what is there a name to that process where you have to show that you're worthy to your to the father?
Uh,
Is there a name to is there,
there's not a name. It's like the courtship phase,
okay.
sort of. It's well, there's a description for it, but it doesn't really have a translation to English or to
Okay.
French. It's something very socially specific to Lebanon. But basically, you have to show your parents and your in-laws that you are mature enough and financially stable enough to be able to get married. And you know, you like logically speaking, nobody should take this step if they're not ready for it. Like if you can't
Oh
afford a
my.
house, how can you afford a family? If you can't afford a family, then why in God's name are you starting one? So I would call it common sense.
You think? Can you imagine if we had that in Canada? How
Half of
much
the people wouldn't
better?
get married.
God, I mean the people jump into marriage so quickly
You
and
shouldn't
not
get married
really.
on a whim.
No, no. I mean, your guys' process. I had no idea that that was it, and it's the way it should be.
So I dated my wife. I still remember the dates. I
Yeah.
hope she watches this.
You,
I
yeah,
gotta make her
you
watch
got one
this.
up on me because with important dates was never my
I
strength.
started dating my wife in November of 2005.
Okay.
And then in July of 2006, I moved to Qatar. And she said, you know what? That's not going to work. I'm not going to go into a long distance relationship. I was like, okay, suit yourself. You want to break up? You say, I just want to break up. Okay, we'll think about it. So I lived in Qatar for 3 years, came back, got engaged while I was in Qatar. We got
Wow.
engaged in September of 2008. February of 2009, I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I could have still stayed in Qatar and made some money, but I was like, no, I miss my fiance too
Yeah.
much. I put in my resignation. So engaged September 2008, in Lebanon, February 2009.
Wow.
And then we got married in September of 2010. So we dated, well, actual dating was a couple of years, but I met her in 2000 and first year of university, 2001. I want to say, yeah, 2000, two thousand
Yeah.
one. So yeah, it's a long process. You gotta date, and then you gotta get engaged. We were engaged for 2 years, and all of these phases are you and her getting ready for your life together, discovering each other,
Yeah.
you proving to her that you are good enough, her proving to you that she would make a good wife and a good mother. So it
Man,
is a
that is,
process.
it's a great process though. It's the common sense. So how long was the total process?
So we met in 2001, and started dating in 2005, engaged in 2008, married in 2010.
You lost me.
Yeah, it was long. So we were engaged for 2 years, engaged in 2008
Yeah.
and married in 2010. So officially engaged for 2 years and dated for 2 years before that.
Okay. So then, what happens then when it's done? How do you know it's done? And like, just walk me through that quickly.
So I was pretty traditional.
Yeah.
Now they have a trend of proposals and everybody proposes and all that stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah, I have more respect for my father-in-law.
Yeah.
So I went straight to my father-in-law and I want your daughter's hand in marriage.
Yeah.
I want to marry your daughter.
Yeah.
And after that, we got engaged. When I spoke to him that I want to be serious, we decided to get engaged. So my parents had to go to her parents' house to literally ask for her hand in marriage.
Wow.
I did it a very traditional way because my dad is very traditional. I'm very traditional.
Yeah.
My father-in-law is very traditional. So I did it by the book. I took my parents to her house, and my dad had to stand up in front of her family and say, I am Assaad's dad. We are here to ask you, Luis, her dad's name,
Yeah.
for Loren's hand in marriage. And then the in-law would answer, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you. You have my blessing. And then my wife and I would put the wedding rings in the right hand.
Wow. That is awesome. I mean, that is so much more better than the North American way things are done. I mean, we don't even have to get into that. So, that being said, this is interesting. The divorce rate in Lebanon, what would it be?
So it's generational. So if I look at my grandparents' generation, it was probably 0 point something percent.
Okay.
And then if I look at my parents' generation, I don't have actual statistics, but if I look at my family,
Guesstimate.
literally nobody in my family is divorced.
Okay.
Nobody.
Yeah.
My parents are not divorced. My uncles are not divorced. My aunts are not divorced. My great uncles are not divorced. My great aunts. We don't have anybody in my family that's divorced. Same as in Laurent's family.
That is absolutely 100% amazing.
I don't think anybody in my wife's family is divorced. My generation, again, if I take my family for example,
Yeah.
none of us are divorced. We are all in Catholic weddings, which in Catholic marriages, which are for life. So Catholic marriage is for life. That's our custom in Lebanon. Now, if I widen the search a bit, I have a lot of friends that got divorced.
Okay.
A lot. Like, I'm surprised how many people I know got divorced. So divorce now rates are much higher than what they were when my mom and dad were.
Right. That generation.
Yeah, that generation. My grandparents. So there were a time when divorce in Lebanon was a taboo.
Right.
Like, a woman or a man would, and unfortunately, I would say a woman would be looked down at. Oh, that's a divorcee.
Really?
She must have done something wrong. Well, no, man. Maybe her husband was beating her up.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why
right.
she got divorced.
Yeah.
And Lebanon is a patriarchy, right? So 9 times out of 10, they try to blame the woman.
Oh.
Yeah. So if something happened,
No
it's
comment
always
on that one.
the woman should have taken care of the marriage. No, it's a marriage. It's a contract. Like, it's a 50-50 thing. You do your part, she does her part.
That's right.
So yeah, divorce is, luckily, where I come from, my family, divorce is not even an option. You got to work it out.
Huh.
No matter what it is, you got to work it out.
There's good and bad to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Sometimes divorce is probably the best option for everybody.
yeah.
But like I said, luckily, we've been blessed so far, I want to say.
Right on. That's good. That's good. So moving on. Then what? So you're getting married.
So we got married. Now you gotta start a family.
Yeah.
Again, looking back, this podcast has me looking back a lot. I
That's
would
good.
say I've been blessed. I've been really blessed. So working in Qatar helped me afford my house. So I didn't have a mortgage on my house. So we didn't start. So my wife and I didn't start with a bunch of debt. And again, my parents managed to help me quite a bit to stand on my own 2 feet. So you're married, now you got to start a family. And being financially stable, we could afford to start a family from the get-go. So 6 months into the marriage, and my wife is pregnant. And lo and behold, it's twins.
Yeah.
Wow, your whole world turns around. Like, what the hell do I do? I have 2 babies on the way.
Yeah.
So we started preparing for that, and then it's been an adventure. Like, got married, got the kids. Now all of your focus is on the kids. So ever since we had the kids, my wife and I's focus has always been on the kids. The kids were the reason we moved here.
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. So, war torn in your childhood into your teens.
The war officially ended in 1990, but I'm pretty sure it was 1991. I was, 9 years old. So my teens, we had peace. We had peace, and we had economic stability. That's as important as peace. So the economy was picking up. Everybody was working again. So my teen years were pretty nice.
Okay. And then how was it? Was there any like there's some incidents that were happening, but
Oh
not
yeah.
yeah, because I
So
see them here.
so we didn't have war,
But
but Lebanon and Israel are neighboring countries,
yeah,
but they are not the best of neighbors. And the war ended in 1991, but the Syrian forces remained in Lebanon. So technically, we were under Syrian occupation then.
and that's
Right.
not good.
Well, nobody wants to be under occupation from anybody else, right?
That's right.
And especially that where I come from, we were opposed to the Syrians.
Yeah.
So we always saw them as the oppressor or as the invading force. So we didn't have the freedom that you guys have here, or we didn't have like there were Syrian checkpoints all over Lebanon. So I remember if I were going from Beirut, which is the coastal city where we lived, to my mom's village, we would be stopped by checkpoints that were not Lebanese army. And you never knew what to expect.
Wow.
You literally never knew what to expect. You would get pulled over. If you had bread, they would take bread. If you had smokes, they would take smokes. My uncles, I remember my uncles would buy extra smokes as bribes. So let's say you had 3 checkpoints on the way. You would know which kind of smokes each checkpoint want.
Yeah.
But you would buy these bribes, give it to them so they don't take something more important like bread or butter or sugar or flour or all that stuff. So you would bribe them with the smokes so that you would get away with whatever you got, which were the basic necessities.
Jeez. So yeah, that wasn't fun.
Again, you get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's all you know.
It was
to
just
that
another
point.
checkpoint, and you had to do it every week because we went to the village every single week.
Yeah.
So you had to do it every week. So you literally just get used to it. I like the Canadian expression. It is what it is, right? So it is what it is. That's what we got to do to. That's the thing I like the most about the Lebanese in general. We always figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Always. No matter what it is, we always figure out a way to make it work.
Why is that?
Because we had to.
Yeah.
Because life shouldn't stop because of war.
Mm-hmm.
That's the philosophy. Even if there's war, you should try to be as normal or normalize life as much as you could.
To have a life.
Because, well, are you going to stay in hiding 24/7? No, you got to go out. You got to see the sun. You would see people on the beach during the war, man.
Wow.
Whenever there was a ceasefire
yeah.
summer, let's go to the beach. And again, looking back, I would say, what the hell? That's not normal. That's not normal.
No.
People shouldn't do that. But yeah, you learn to adapt. So I would say adaptability is the biggest Lebanese strength. The biggest Lebanese strength. So before coming here, a couple of years before coming here, we had a huge Lebanese meltdown in Lebanon. Like the economy just grinded to a halt. There were times when we couldn't find gas to put in the cars.
Wow.
Back then, I was running a mobile phone distribution company. So we had, I want to say, a dozen vans that we would fill with product, which is mobile phones and tablets and smartwatches and whatnot, and send across the Lebanese territory to sell phones. A big part of my day or my morning, I would spend figuring out how much gas does this car have, where am I sending it, and how much money is this car going to make me to decide if it's going to be worth it to send this car out or not. So again, that's not something that's related to sales, but it's something you adapt to do or you learn how to do because you have to do it to be able to move forward. So that's the adaptability I'm talking about. Find a solution to every problem you might face.
You guys were survivors.
Oh yeah, that's a good way
know,
to explain it.
you know.
We are survivors.
No.
We've survived some stuff that is
Okay. Would like to hear one more incident because it's pretty fascinating, really, to me. Dick, to talk with somebody, be friends with somebody who grew up in that crazy time. Or, I would have never thought that I would meet somebody from Lebanon and be able to hear the stories. So, I want to hear another story of a near-death experience, I guess, per se.
Remember how I told you that after that APC exploded, we decided that it was no longer safe to stay where we were, and we moved to my uncle's
Yeah.
apartment building, and they lived on sort of a hill that overlooked where we were. I remember one time we were outside because there was less bombing, so we wanted to go outside, get some fresh air, get some sun, whatever.
You and your brother?
Me, my brother, my mom, and basically everybody that was in this shelter.
Yeah.
We all agreed that it's a good time to go outside.
Yeah.
So we went outside, and they had a huge parking lot in front of the building, and right next to it was the road. And suddenly we see a tank rolling down the road.
Yeah.
So the apartment building was up a hill. So the tank was coming all the way from the top, driving down, and it just parked by the building.
Wow.
And we were kids, and we've seen tanks before, but like when you see a tank, you run. Wow, it's a tank, and you want to get on top of it and everything, and like, wow, it's just the tank standing there. So we go look at the tank, and like the parents would say, "Oh, hey, look at the tank," which is, if you think of it, what the hell? It's a tank. You should be away from it.
Yeah.
For us, it's a tank. Let's go stand next to it.
Yeah.
Thank God there were no cell phones, because imagine taking a selfie by the tank or whatever.
No kidding.
5 minutes later, the tank crew starts yelling at us, "Get the hell away, get the hell away." So they got a command or something over the radio to start bombing. So while we were standing there, you could hear the tank bombing down.
Oh, wow. Right beside your house.
2 minutes. Right by the parking lot. So if you want to think of it, we were one floor below the tank, and the tank was, you could hear it, and the whole building would shake.
Wow.
So now I'm laughing at it, but as a kid, that was, okay, it's a tank and it's bombing, so what?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like 2 minutes before, we were standing
you
right
were
next to
playing
it.
on the tank.
I can't remember if somebody even got on top of it or something, but then he starts yelling at us.
Okay, guys.
Go get the shelter. We're
gotta
starting. We got to get to work.
Wow.
We gotta get to work. You can hear the boom, boom.
Jeez. Eh?
We used to play a guessing game. So you used to hear the bomb go up.
Yeah.
And you would play a guessing game where it's going to land. It's going to land here. It's going to land there. It's going to land.
Did you get good at guessing that from where you would hear the bomb going off? Or
my dad and uncles could know what type of artillery was being fired. So you had the 155 or 155 millimeter artillery and 240 millimeter artillery. And we got so good at knowing which one was going off just by the sound.
100%. That's what I thought.
You
would just start learning from the shot.
People can guess if it's an AK or an M16 or whatever, or a Browning machine gun just by listening to it. Because again, that was your daily life for I don't know how long.
You heard it so much.
Oh yeah, you get used to it. I still remember, believe it or not, the sound of the 155 millimeter artillery going off. I still remember that sound. It sounded like somebody banging on a metal drum. I still remember the sound. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, it just sticks with you.
Oh yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So let's move on. Now you're married, you have the children, and then we have, just going through my timeline here of major incidents, the 2020 Beirut port explosion. So I don't remember that. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And then the fall off from that?
So we survived the war.
Yeah.
But believe me when I tell you that explosion was as traumatic as the war.
Really?
So my house, my wife and I's house, it actually overlooks the port. I'll show you a photo later.
Yeah.
if you're standing on my terrace in the house, you can see the port, straight shot.
How far?
Like straight flight, bird's flight, I would say 10 kilometers, maybe
Okay.
less.
Okay.
Like straight.
Yep.
I'll show you a photo. It will give you a better idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So on the day of the explosion, I was upstairs in the bedroom, and my bedroom has like, I want to say 4 or 5 meter of glass curtain that overlooks the sea.
Good view.
Amazing view.
Yeah.
And I can see the port while lying down in my bed.
Okay.
And then I start to see smoke going up. And I was on the phone with a friend, and I was like, whoa, there's smoke going out of the port. So I walk from my bed to my upstairs balcony, and that's when the first explosion goes off. And I saw the first explosion.
Wow.
And I was sending my friend voice notes over WhatsApp, and you could hear a splash because of the explosion in the voice note I'm telling him. And in the voice note, I'm swearing in Arabic.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, a huge explosion in the port, or a huge explosion in Beirut. I didn't know it was the port.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an assassination, like they assassinated the prime minister or something. And I was praying, please God, don't let it be an assassination. Please God, don't let it be an assassination. And then, I don't know, 5-10 seconds later, I don't know how long it was before the first and the second explosion. The second explosion goes up, and the second explosion is the second largest non-nuclear explosion in history.
Wow.
And I see this white wall of smoke that just starts expanding and expanding and expanding, and then goes up and tears everything in its path. And even like the clouds in the sky, you could see them separate. And mind you, that's 2 seconds, 3 seconds tops,
Yeah.
but it felt like a lifetime. And then it took another couple of seconds for the explosion to reach me.
Right. That's right. It's, yeah.
It threw me off my feet.
Wow.
I was in my house, and the explosion was probably close to 8th Street from where we are now.
Yeah.
It threw me off my feet. And I'm not a small guy. I'm average.
Did it break the glass then?
I had all the doors and glass windows and doors open in the house. It was summer, so we don't have central air conditioning.
Right.
So I had air conditioning on in my room where I was, but everywhere else in the house, everything was open, and I have so many glass doors and windows. Luckily, nothing broke in my house.
Wow.
Even in my room, although the air conditioning was on, because I was trying to get out on the balcony, I had opened the door, which released the pressure. But if something was closed, because in my mom and dad's house, who live a bit further than me, and they don't have direct view to the port, their door, it was locked.
Blew open.
Blew off the hinges, man.
Wow.
It blew off the hinges.
So what size? Tell us a little bit about the size of the bomb. Like what happened?
So it was ammonium nitrate that was stored, and the official story says 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate went off.
So just to clarify, excuse my ignorance.
Oh, yeah.
This was an accident then, or was it somebody?
God knows.
Okay, we still don't
People
know.
say that somebody bombed the port.
Yeah.
People say that somebody.
That makes sense to me as an outsider.
Yeah, there's so many stories, and it's so political, and there's no official investigation. There is an official investigation, but there's no official result as to what happened.
So they never caught who did it.
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody get held accountable for an explosion that destroyed the Lebanese capital and took the lives of 200 some people.
How much damage did it do to the infrastructure?
You
Like,
know
say
what
between your house and closer to the explosion.
You know what my kids called it?
What?
The apocalypse.
Really? Just flattened everything.
My kids called it the apocalypse. I couldn't bring myself to go to the area for probably 3 or 4 months. And when I went there, I cried.
Yeah.
I had tears in my eyes because I know how the area looked like.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, Like when it's war,
Yeah.
you expect damages.
Yeah.
But it's peacetime. There's no war. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
The damage was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So then
That
what?
was the single biggest influence on me coming here.
Okay. I was going to say, so then what?
That was the single biggest influence on me coming here. My wife had started, I call it nagging. She'd started nagging about moving out
That's
of
what
the
they
country.
do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's be honest.
Sorry, ladies.
Loran, we're not talking about you. I gotta get back home, man. I gotta eat.
That's freaking funny.
So Loran had started asking me to move out of the country. And
After
even
that.
before that,
Oh, wow.
during COVID and then the
Why?
economic meltdown, well,
Economic meltdown?
yeah,
Okay.
it was mostly the economic meltdown. And Loren always felt that taking the kids out of Lebanon would give them a better future, a better opportunity. I did not share that thought.
Okay.
I'm more of a family guy. I always wanted the kids to be close to my family, close to her family. I think that's very important. But she wanted to move out of the country. And I was like, no, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
During the financial meltdown, we lost obviously all our savings in the bank and 90% of our income.
Mhm.
Literally, our income went down 90%, 90,
Yeah.
not 90, 90%.
That's not good.
We were good. Per job, by job, we had zero debt. We were good. So even after that, we were still good. I didn't have any debt. Whatever I was making, I was putting food on the table. My kids still had their activities. My kids still had brand new clothing for Christmas. Like the basic necessities plus and then some, I still had them for my kids. And that's why I didn't want to move.
Yeah.
I told Loren, it's not worth it to move. We're still doing okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to move.
Yeah.
But she said, please, let's do it for us. Let's do it. Don't do it for us. Do it for the kids. And she got me. So I had actually made the first step of immigrating to Canada a couple of days before the port explosion.
Wow.
Literally, if I'm not mistaken, it was either the 30th or the 31st of July of that year when I made the actual first step to immigrate to Canada, which is accreditation for your university degree. You send it to an accreditation board and you get accredited. I had made that step a couple of days before. And I'm going to be very honest, and Loren knows this. I was doing this just to get her off my back. I knew,
the nagging.
Yeah, I knew in the back of my head that if I take these steps, I would buy myself a couple of months where she wouldn't say, well, what did you do? What did you do? I could buy myself, because I still didn't want to leave. But then when the explosion happened, I was like, oh my God. Why? Why am I going to put my kids through this?
Yeah. That's no kid should have to go through. Nobody should have to go through that experience.
Kids or adults. I think that's probably the most traumatic experience of my life, because you would laugh if I tell you this. I thought it was a nuclear explosion.
I wouldn't laugh.
For a split second there,
Well, yeah.
honest to God, I was saying my prayers.
Yeah.
I was like, God, please protect my kids. I thought that was it. Because you don't know what's going on. It's like you're dab in the middle of it, man. You don't know what's going on. I was like, God, please protect my kids. Please take care of my mom and dad. And that's it.
Thought that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
My kids weren't with me. My wife wasn't with me. I was alone in the house.
Were they at a safer part of them?
My wife was in an area closer to the port.
Uh-oh.
But here's the thing. So Lebanon is not just flatlands here.
Yeah.
So my house is on a hill.
Yeah.
So I had a better view of the port and there were no obstacles between me and the port. My wife was at my in-laws' house, who's not on a hill, who's at the bottom by sea level, but there are a lot of obstacles between her and the port. So she didn't feel it as bad as I did.
Yeah. Thank
So
God.
the shock wave that I felt, she didn't feel.
Well, it came directly at you.
You could see the shock wave coming at you. It's ridiculous, man.
Well, you knew it was coming.
Oh yeah, you brace for it, and then it threw you off your feet.
How much time did you have to be prepared for the impact? Seconds.
No more than 3 seconds.
Wow.
3 to 5 seconds, I want to say.
Longest 3 seconds of your life.
Oh,
then.
yeah. You
Jeez.
saw the shockwave coming, and I was like, I swear to God, I was like, this is it. I'm dead.
Jesus. And you had, I mean, that was a bad one, but you had other ones just
Oh, yeah.
about as bad.
Yeah.
So how does that shape you as a person, coming into Canada, having gone through that? Can you explain that to us?
So moving to Canada was a gamble.
And why Canada?
Uh, uh, why Canada? Because we have family here.
Okay.
And because Canada, well, you always hear the nice things about Canada,
Yeah.
the positive things about Canada. You don't try to look for the negative or the hard things in Canada when you want to move here. But Canada, for the Lebanese, has always been the go-to place. It's Canada and Australia.
Okay.
That have one of the biggest Lebanese communities outside of Lebanon. So for us, it was mostly because we have family here and we wouldn't be alone. And second, equally important reason was Canada has one of the easiest immigration systems in the world.
Right.
So immigrating to Canada would be easier than immigrating to Australia or immigrating
US.
somewhere else, right? Or to the US. The US was never really on the map for us to immigrate to.
Okay.
Like I said, moving here was a gamble. You're moving to a new country, a new culture, like a new everything. And especially that we decided to move to Saskatoon where we don't know anybody.
Yeah.
But having survived that, my mindset was we have to make it. It's not an option to move there and say, oh, life is hard. Oh, it's cold. Oh, the taxes are high. Oh, I don't know what. My wife and I made the decision that no matter what comes our way, we are going to make it. And that's the mindset that I brought with me here. And that's probably why we survived and we managed to make it in this short period of time.
But I think that what you went through your whole life in Lebanon shaped you and made you that resilience.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
what are you scared of after that? Okay, let's go to Canada. The cold winters. That's a cakewalk for you, right?
I haven't had really scary experiences in Canada, to
No.
be honest.
No. Yeah.
Maybe sometimes on the road when you're driving and you don't see anything in front of you, but I mean,
Ice like this morning was one of the scariest moments you've had, probably.
Yeah,
right?
probably. Yeah, like the slipping on the road is scary, but I've driven through thick fog in Lebanon, so I'm used to driving blind. I'm crazy enough to do it. But yeah, like it's so peaceful here. Sometimes my friends and I, it's usually the men, not the women. We look at each other like, hey guys, let's be honest. We kind of missed the action in Lebanon.
Go hang out on the west side there. Go down there at 12 o'clock at night with your buddy.
Everybody says that. I've not, maybe you and I should go for a drive there sometime.
Yeah, I'll pass. In my younger days, I would have. So now we met through, the initiative that I do there with the Travel Lodge, Pathways to Success, and obviously become friends from that. Just how did you get into the job you out there quickly, and how did that play out?
So
I think you're happy there.
Oh yeah, I love it there, man. I love it there.
Yeah.
I love the people. I love the interactions.
You guys have a good staff.
I don't think I would have learned as much as I've learned about the Canadian culture if I were working somewhere other than that place.
Oh, absolutely.
I've learned so much culture. I've met so many different people, so many different backgrounds. Like, wow. Even myself, I'm surprised when I think of the things I've learned, the things I've went through. And that's why I love it.
Yeah.
I love going to work, man.
Well, that's how we met.
That's how we met. So I started there in September of the year we landed, September of 2022, right after we landed.
How come? Why?
I was applying left and right, and I got a call. Hey, we got a vacancy. Do you want to work? I was like, yeah. And I always thought, you know what? I'll go in, work for a couple of weeks, work for a couple of months, for whatever, just make ends meet, and then I'll move to something better. But then I think I did a good job, and I started working my way up the ladder,
Yeah.
promotion after promotion, and look at me, 3.5 years later.
Yeah. So what's your title there now?
I am currently a sales manager.
Yeah. Right on. Cool.
So
And you do a
yeah,
good job.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's exciting. You meet new people. You meet exciting people. It has its ups and downs, but so far it's been more ups than downs. And like I said, I don't think I would have been lucky enough to meet as many people and learn as much about the culture and how to act and how to behave. Because with every culture, there are certain limitations. Some things you can do, some things you can't do, some things you can say, some things you can't say.
Yeah.
So, and you learn this, you can read about it day and night, but the only way to actually learn it is to live it. And I'm living it now.
Yes.
I am living it, and I can't lie and say that I'm not enjoying it, because I'm enjoying every second of it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good for you. And the kids are settled in and enjoying life in Canada too.
So we went to Lebanon this summer, and my kids are now starting, teens, they're starting to form their personality and whatnot. So I was just hanging out with my daughter, having, I don't know, some fruits or whatever. And she comes to me and she says, "You know what? I love Lebanon, but please don't ask us to come back."
Wow.
Like, what? Don't you want to be with grandma and grandpa? She said, "I love them. I would die to be with them, but I can't live in Lebanon anymore. I prefer living in Canada."
Yeah.
Remember, she came here, she was 10 years old, 11 years old, and now she's 14 years old. So she's really stepping into her shoes.
Yeah.
He's stepping into his shoes. So they're comfortable here. They like the people. They like how nice the people are. They've always felt welcome. They have friends. They're in high school now. So I think my kids are enjoying life here,
Yeah.
probably more than my wife and I, which I am incredibly happy and thankful about,
Yeah.
because once again, the main reason we moved to Canada was in the hopes of giving our kids a better future.
See, your wife was right. You were wrong. That nagging?
Yeah,
That was,
you're not going to get me to say that. No, I
that's-
refuse. Because if I say that, then I will never hear the end of it.
So maybe, you know what? When I'm just asking, the kids grow up, maybe you move back to Lebanon. I guess it would,
My brother and my best friend in Lebanon, every single time they talk to me, they swear at me, because swearing is pretty traditional. And
okay. Well, here too.
so, and every time I talk to them, when the hell are you coming back? When the hell are you coming back? When the hell are you coming back? So, emotionally speaking, I would love to be there.
Yeah.
But logically, realistically speaking, so if I'm thinking with my heart, I want to be in Lebanon. If I'm thinking with my head, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Is it safe there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I could go on holiday there.
You have to go on. I
Well,
gotta
maybe
take.
I'm kind of hinting. I'm
I
kind of
gotta
hinting.
take you and take some people from here on holiday in
Yeah.
Lebanon. So, if you listen to the news, you would say, "Why the hell would people want to go there?" I was there. I spent 1 month summer over there. Best summer of my life. Beaches, going to the mountains, clubbing, socializing, whatever you can think of, we can do in Lebanon.
Okay. I'm not scared of that. I mean, I went to Colombia a few years ago, and Cali actually, and had a pretty reputation. But you know what? I went for a walk one night on my own and met some of the locals, and I'm sure my skin color helped, right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably a non-Indigenous person might not want to do that, but everybody treated me great. Had a blast.
So
and just mixed in and mingled, and it was good. And I'm sure, like, I wouldn't be scared to go to Lebanon with you.
you would love it. I promise you would love it. If we go to a village in Lebanon and you walk by the houses, every single house you walk by will invite you to come in. If it's morning, they will invite you to come in for breakfast. If it's noon, they'll invite you to come in for lunch. If it's night, they'll invite you to come in for dinner. Coffee.
Yeah.
The way we make coffee is different than yours. So if you go to a village,
Yeah.
coffee is always boiling, because you never know who might show up and what time they might show up, and they have to go in and you have to give them coffee.
That's cool.
Unbelievable. If you go to Lebanon and you walk, people that don't even know your name, if you just say hi, they would say, hey, come on in.
Really?
So the polite way to reply to a greeting in Lebanon, if you're sitting in your house and somebody walks by your house and says hi, the polite way or the customary way to say, hello, come on and have a coffee. Well, do you know him? No, he just said hi to me. I can't not invite him. I have to invite him to come in.
That's cool.
Going Lebanon is an experience I think that everybody should have at least once in their life. I've never met anybody that went to Lebanon that didn't enjoy it.
You know, that's pretty cool, and I'm glad that you were able to share that, because I think a lot of people would, because of the news and the past of Lebanon, people would have no idea that people are that nice and friendly in Lebanon. No idea. So I'm glad you told that.
There are several misconceptions about Lebanon
Yeah,
that you would get if you only read or watch or listen to the news.
that's right.
One of the biggest misconceptions. Well, is it safe to go to Lebanon? Oh, hell yeah, it's safe.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely safe. So if you go on the Canadian government website now, there's a travel advisory against going to Lebanon. Again, if it wasn't safe, I wouldn't have taken my wife and kids and spent all summer there. My wife and kids spent a month and a half, and I spent close to a month. Look at us. We're back in one piece.
Chaser, we think we got a road trip coming up.
You have to. If you want to plan it, I'm all for it.
All right. Well, you know what? That's a wrap. And thank you for coming on. This was very educational, and to know about what you went through and to sit with somebody who went through that stuff that I watched on TV my whole life is pretty fascinating. So
thank you for having me. Like I said, it was a pleasure and an honor.
okay, thanks a lot.